St. Patel.
St. Patel. Oh, okay. And Dorian lives in St. Patel.
All right. Well, welcome everyone to the September the 17th, 2018 meeting of Keystone Speakers. It's great to have you all here. This is a very special meeting that we're having tonight, and we're going to get right into our guest speaker. And it's a monumental meeting tonight because we have friends from the United States that have zoomed in, and hopefully as we go along, a few friends of ours in Edmonton from Toastmasters Club, who have the same objectives as we do, are going to zoom in as well. So we'd like to welcome everyone, especially Greg Wood, our accredited speaker. Yay! Yay! There you are, that's right now. Yay! Yeah. And remember, there is a dinner for him on October the 1st at the Windsor Park Inn at the Canada in Windsor Park, 6:15 meet and greet, 6:30 dinner. I'll talk more about that when it's all over, but we are going to honor Greg because he couldn't do it at the fall rally, and they couldn't even get the video going. It's about not checking stuff. He's actually going to do it live for us. You're on the hook, by the way. Dinner costs money. All right. So anyway, welcome to this special program in the Accredited Speakers webinar series hosted this month by Keystone Speakers in Winnipeg, Manitoba, Canada. My name is Michael Bayer. I am the Vice President of Education of the club, and I'm proud, of course, to once again to congratulate our Greg Wood, who passed the Accredited Speaker process and earned the designation. We're very, very proud of him. To buy a bigger hat. I'll let you connect those dots. Anyway, the Toastmasters International Accredited Speaker Program is designed for sought-after professionals who combine their subject matter expertise and platform presentation mastery. Honored for professionalism and outstanding achievement in public speaking, 81 members have earned the Accredited Speaker designation since the program began in 1981. Although every candidate can pass, less than 1% of applicants have received the credential. Programs like our session serve to educate us in the process and help us pass the first time. In this session, we will discover the judging process and how to prepare, downloadable resources that are available, judging criteria and ballot, and you do have copies of those at every place, practice tips, feedback, and mentoring. There will be a Q&A at the end of the webinar style format. During the session, the chat box will be open. After the main portion, I will provide the speaker with our questions. You may have seen today's guests present educational sessions on stage at the international conventions, including Washington, D.C. and Vancouver, B.C. She's the lead ambassador of the Accredited Speaker Program, mentoring candidates and coordinating with world headquarters, ensuring the integrity of the process as the speaking industry continues to evolve globally. Sheryl Roush earned her accredited speaker designation in 1993 and was the youngest and only the 6th female and the 28th overall. For her contributions globally to communication and leadership, she was presented the Presidential Citation in 2009. With this insightful session on the judging process and how to prepare, please help me welcome distinguished Toastmaster, past district governor, accredited speaker, Sheryl Roush.
I love it. I love it. Thank you. This is a very special webinar program in the series that we have recently started for how to earn accredited speaker. And Michael, thank you to you and Keystone Speakers, not only for hosting this program, but also for requesting this specific topic. And it's the first one that I've done on the judging process, as well as tips for how can you help a member prepare, or how can you support them if they're going for the accredited speaker, or if you are going for the accredited speaker designation yourself, how can you pass the first time? So let's get ready. First of all, there's a couple of websites to draw your attention to for more information and follow-up and any announcements that are coming up. So for instance, toastmasters.org/membership/accredited-speaker is the official Toastmasters International website. We also have sanctioned by a Canadian. Matter of fact, Bob Huey and his wife Irene have created the accreditedspeakers.com site. I say that it's sanctioned because World Headquarters approves it, and they do monitor it, even though we have, as a collective, have created and we covered that admin. Those are the two official websites. So anything regarding accredited speaker, that's where you can find it. So let's give an overview then regarding the terminology. We refer to this as the AS, or Accredited Speaker Program. Those who are pursuing the designation are referred to as candidates, not contestants. And this is the only terminology that we do use for those pursuing the designation. After they have received it, such as your own Greg Wood, then they are referred to as recipients and accredited speakers. How we refer to the award may be through accreditation, designation, or credentials. So I think it's important to have our terminology down. Then we love to roll out the red carpet and welcome our new AS colleagues. And for obvious reasons, we do not use the plural form of AS. Anyway, that said, here is the information site for accredited speaker on toastmasters.org, where you can download many of the resources. So if you haven't already, and I realize that at your meeting right there in person that you do have copies of these downloads, if there are any changes or updates to any of the documents, this is where you will find it. We will also be posting them on accreditedspeakers.com, but this is the official word. So anytime that you are double checking back into the program, then go in and click on the live links of the blue, and it will bring up the link over to the PDF for where you can find it. The list of accredited speakers is about to be updated, as we have added 6 more newly minted, the class of 2018 accredited speakers. These are, again, more forms that you are going to want to be very familiar with. Some of the things which are going to be updating pretty soon are the accredited speaker rules and the application, which may affect the next steps. And we're also looking at how is Pathways going to be aligning with the accredited speaker and the eligibility. The judge's guide has recently been posted just within the past several months. So you can actually see the judge's guide and use it for any of your speakers who are practicing their longer presentations at your club meetings, which is my first top tip and recommendation, by the way. So we'll be coming back to some of those. I want to skim a couple of the program rules. In case you're not familiar with the accredited speaker program, a couple of things I'm going to be pointing out along the way. There are 2 levels in the accredited speaker process, if you will. Level 1 is reviewed for completeness of the application and that the video is within the designated time, which is 20 to 45 minutes. And as Terry Watson, one of Greg's new class of 2018 colleagues, said, that 45 minutes is a hard stop. So it means that if you are giving a keynote presentation that's 60 minutes long, it will either not qualify, or you need to do a hard stop, full-on close at 45 minutes. Not included in that 45 minutes, though, is your speaker introduction. The judges are looking for that introduction, a proper one, before you actually launch your presentation. I'd be really careful, though. With TI and regulations, you don't want to cross over into any dangerous territory of 45.30 seconds, because they may at headquarters just look at the video and see that it's 30 seconds over and automatically disqualify. And I'll share with you, because Darren talks about it too, is that Darren LaCroix did not pass on application the first time that he applied because he submitted a full-on keynote. One of the rules that we're seeking to change to keep up with the evolution of the professional world of speaking is to enable longer full keynote presentations, like 60 minutes in length, but that needs to be approved by the board of directors. So any of the things that I'm sharing with you now, they're not official, but to let you know what's in the works. So again, level 1, after the application has been approved, and I'll also share with you why people fail at level 1, that they don't pass, is that then it goes to a panel of judges. And if you're keeping track of the numbers, as a few of you like to know what are the statistics, this year for the 2018 class, if you will, there were 26 applications originally filed. 2 were immediately disqualified. Whether something happened on the application or the video or something was incomplete, the 2 immediately were disqualified. Of those 24 that passed at the application stage, they went to 2 judging teams that were composed of, I believe, 5 judges each. There was not a chief judge at level 1 because that's admin by world headquarters, but level 2 at the international convention has both a chief judge and 5 qualified judges in that. So at both levels, the applicant needs to have a majority of the judges. Currently, that is 3 out of 5. In the past, and it may go back to, it was 4 out of 5. So when you're thinking about this, you want to be fully committed and you want to make sure that you have 5 out of 5, that there is absolutely no doubt in the judge's mind that yes, you are truly a professional presenter and that caliber, the content delivering structure, the engagement, all of that brings it together. And they want to see you on stage doing what it is that you do. So again, a majority of the judges agree. Then from that, after level 1 of the pass, thumbs up, then the candidates are informed that they have passed level 1 with basic information regarding speaking at the international convention. Later, they find out, based on how many candidates have passed at level 1, exactly how long their presentation will be. That's probably the toughest part about this process, is that if you are taking something that would be a 45 to 60-minute keynote of your expertise, your hallmark material, that you need to bring it down into, well, this year was 15 to 18 minutes. It's tough, but true professionals can do that. And I can share a story with you that even though my keynotes are now up to 75 and 90 minutes long, then my accredited speaker presentation hit 16 minutes on the mark. And at that time, I was allowed 20 to 45 minutes. And my concern is that I disqualified for going under time. And World Headquarters said, no, it was okay. It's like, oh my gosh, can you imagine going under time for this? So it can be done. That's my point in sharing my part of the story, is at 16 minutes, you can rock the stage, show the judges everything that they need to do, and get 100% of the judges' votes the first time passing. Level 2. So again, applicants who pass, as in candidates, are then invited to present at the live audience, and you do pay your own way. So if I were you, and if this were my goal, I would put the August dates already on my calendar for the next 2, maybe even 3 years. Next year is going to be in Denver, Colorado. The following year is Paris. So Paris Français, if you want to go to France. But again, you're paying your own way. And then the year after that is Nashville, Tennessee. So if you're really setting your goal and you're setting your sights on this program and when you're going to accomplish it and receive the designation, put those on your calendar, block it out. And it also means that after you find out from level 1 that you've passed to go on to level 2, you need to have at least 20 different presentations. So at the end of this webinar, we'll bring Greg Wood in to share his story, his journey of this. And again, it needs to be a majority of the judges. The applications are due by February 1st. What that means, the window is January 1 up until February 1st. And again, do not push that deadline. Something could be missing with your application and it's immediate grounds for disqualification. If the 5 letters of recommendation did not get received by February 1st, your application could be stalled or disqualified. So if I were you, I would also have every presentation at that meeting planner, especially the paid engagements, is to submit the online letter of recommendation. TI staff in the accredited speaker department then, and if you're on, please mute yourself as I'm picking up movement, that then they create a folder in your name so that when your materials come in, the application, every letter of recommendation, anything else, any of your emails go into that particular electronic folder. My suggestion on the applications is that you shoot for January 5th, just in case there's any leeway time, anything that could happen along the way. You want to be in there pretty early. The next area is that you need to have 25 outside presentations, outside to non-Toastmaster audiences, And the judges do look to see who's in the audience, and if there's some well-known Toastmasters, they could say, oh, that was a Toastmaster event. Currently, it's within the past 3 years of the date of application. So if you are applying in January 2019, then you would include 2016, 2017, 2018. So you can include those. That regulation may also be changing soon to a shorter time span. It may drop to 2 years for the first time, and then it may even drop down to 1, because true professional speakers have at least 25 speaking engagements every single year, and really actually more than that. Any presentations on the application must be a minimum of 20 minutes, minimum. 15 of those 25 must be paid. Yes, you must indicate on the application what was the fee paid. It may not include honorariums, travel reimbursements, back of the room sales for product, coaching, anything of the likes. It must be as if a check for your speaking fee was presented to you from that organization. There may come a time where TI does require photocopies of those checks. You ought to be doing that in your business anyway. At least 20 people in your audience, and that does not include the videographer. It needs to be clearly a visible 20 people in the audience. We're going to come back to the video in a little bit too, because I also have some recommendations for you there. One of the questions I've been asked recently, especially since we are headed to France in a couple of years, is does the presentation need to be in English? Yes, it does. This has a parallel to our public speaking contests. And even though on the application, you may have those 25, well, let's see, 25 could be in your native language. However, as you present for your level 1 on the video and at the level 2, they must be presented in English. That rule I don't see changing anytime soon at all. So those are the couple of things that I wanted to point out regarding how to apply in the application. Let's take a closer look at why people may disqualify. First of all, an incomplete application. It's missing information. I've also flagged, because I no longer judge level 1 or level 2. I'm available for mentoring, and I greatly appreciate when I'm brought in, or any of the accredited speaker mentors, we will mentor you complimentary, and I'll show you a slide that shows what we can support you on and what we are very available to do. When I'm looking at an application and the awards and accomplishments are all Toastmaster related, I go back to that candidate and say, this is a professional designation. This is not for Toastmasters. Change that to things that you have done in the real world application. Maybe it's Speaker of the Month, Speaker of the Year, nominations, whatever that might be. Missing information could be that it's missing a couple of fees, or that the items were not line itemed, or any of the program rules were not followed. So again, it follow the rules. You know, people ask me, well, what's the most important thing? Follow the rules. It's as clear as that. The video presentation, 20 to 45 minutes, not including the introduction, spoken in English, recorded live before a non-Toastmaster audience of at least 20 people. Also, if you have any, and it'll say down here at the bottom of this, is that if the presentation involved visual aids, including slides, handouts, or props, those, or a facsimile, as in a PDF of the slides, must be sent in with the application. That goes into your electronic folder. The judges need to assimilate everything as if they were in the room. These are a couple of tough areas. Again, think professional speaker. Don't think advanced Toastmaster or been in the organization a long time. Think of what the best professional speakers that you have ever seen present. What would they do? Everything would be par excellence. So if they're a member of NSA, National Speakers Association, or CAPS, the Canadian Association of Professional Speakers, or big names that you've seen, what would they do? Your video must be a professional quality with the audio. There have been several applicants who have been disqualified because the judges couldn't hear the audio where the speaker was not mic'd. That's instant disqualification. So one of the tips here on how to support your speaker and how to help you practice is start videotaping every presentation that you give, where you are mic'd, where you have someone operating the camera, not just on a tripod at the back of the room and it gets everybody's water bottles. No, start practicing and get into the mindset of what would that quality video look like. Include the person who introduces you and your speech. One of the things that I think happened in this year with one of the candidates, and I had a phone call with a candidate this morning to confirm this, that it appeared from the comments that the candidate received that the judges did not pick up on in the introduction who the ideal audience is for that presentation of which the candidate is a subject matter expert. All 5 judges in their feedback forms indicated that. And it tells me, yikes. Yikes. So and this happens at level 2, and Greg can tell you because we also worked on his introduction, is to make sure that it puts you as the subject expert, that it names who your target audience is, because the judges are looking for who do you typically speak to that you get paid to present to. All of that shows up in the video. Get the introduction on there, because too, if you're having any of the accredited speakers mentor you and review the video, we need that to put it into context. Then we can give you appropriate mentoring from there. Let's see, structure is going to be critical here. Again, critical. If you can nail your opening body conclusion, the structure, things to practice on in every presentation that you give, inside and outside of Toastmasters as well. So those are a couple of points. And Dr. Dilla, past international president, accredited speaker, also shares his top tips regarding video recording. And his list is 8. So poor quality as a non-professional recording. Number 2, lack of proper introduction of the speaker. Number 3, the entire presentation was not included in the recording, as in it cut out. And by the way, it cannot be edited in any way, shape, or form, or it's grounds for immediate disqualification. Number 4, it may have been too short or too long. Typically, it's too long. I have yet to see one that was too short. Number 5, a lack of clear organization, that you also need to have strong connectives and transitions, those segues between thoughts. Number 6, lack of a clear central idea to the presentation. What's the premise? Where are you going with this? Number 7, editing of the recording. Facsimiles. Number 8, of the visual aids were not submitted with the application. So Dr. Dillip, thank you very much for your particular tips. So let's look at the judging criteria and the judge's guide and the ballot. You can download these from World Headquarters. I've been working on getting the guide and ballot posted on our website publicly for about 20 years. So I earned my accredited speaker 25 years ago. Since then, the ballot has been updated and finally posted online and made public. Here are the judging standards, and this was released back in 2016 in the judge's briefing. Candidates are evaluated using the judge's guide and ballot and evaluation form. Their subject, so the speaker, the candidate's subject, is not targeted for a Toastmasters audience. And the suggestion and mentoring is that it not be tailored for Toastmasters. There may be areas to create relevance to a Toastmaster audience without naming Toastmasters. So that's a good correlation, worth a few extra points, if you will. But mentioning blatantly for Toastmasters, not generally accepted well in the eyes of the judges. They want to see what you are doing professionally. The exception to that is because as professionals, we do tailor our messages to the audience, there may be specific reason to do exactly that. The second thing, that candidates are evaluated, the style should be appropriate for the type of audience for which the presentation is intended. So who is the audience? And that is put into the speaker introduction. So let's take a look at what is posted now online is the judging criteria. As you're looking at this, I'm going to take a closer look at the instructions to the judge. As an overview, it breaks down into content, delivery, and language. And this was updated in 2016. So here's that first instruction to the judge, that the accreditation is to be undertaken with the sole purpose of determining the skill and expertise of the speaker as a professional presenter. So let me pull back here a second. So professional presenter, this may be if you are a professor, lecturer, minister, teacher of different topics. That is professional presenting. And we do now have 2 ministers, by the way. Oh, let's see. We have our first magician. So that's also a professional presenter doing what it is that they do, that they get paid to do. So if you're not sure if you qualify, it could be a speaker, trainer, again, presenting in front of live audiences. So Toastmasters International considers the professional speaker as one who applies his or her communication skills. And this is interesting because in this criteria, they pulled up something that when I qualified in 1993 on our application, we need to be qualified in 6 different styles of speaking. Back then, it was primarily, and back in 1981, the designation was awarded for platform presentation professionalism, as in keynote speaking only. After that, then training came in. So now in this new criteria, it's giving an overview of the purposes of speaking could include informing, motivating, inspiring, entertaining, and leading seminars and discussion groups, which I would call training. So it's gone back to giving an overview of that. In my application, we need to put a check mark on which one of these was that particular style, that particular presentation. So again, this is the judge's guide and ballot. This is exactly what is used for level 1 and level 2. This is my top suggestion for anyone who is practicing and preparing to go for the accredited speaker designation. When you are giving a presentation, give this to your audience. If this is for your club, make sure that each member of your club, including the guests, have a copy of this, and that they do circle under performance what level was it, and if they were to give a score, and if they were to give an actual specific score over in the far right for each of those 3 areas. The criteria, again, content, delivery, and language. So then what is the total of that over the entire score? And that needs to, well, you have 100 points on that. So then on the second page, the point value, it breaks it down. Here's the bottom line. And even if you didn't score, if you only use this page to give feedback to your speaker, would you pass or fail them? That's the hard truth about this process. Both levels, at level 1 and level 2, are pass or fail. The judges do not sequester to debate, debrief, to talk about, well, this person should pass because, no, there's no deliberation. In the past, they have done that. A couple of years then that was done away with. I don't know if it'll be coming back, but here's your bottom line. And if you translate that to the real world, your audiences are thinking thumbs up or thumbs down. Your meeting planners are thinking, would I hire this person again? Does this speaker make me look good, or am I embarrassed I hired this speaker? Would I refer them to someone else? And then there's room on the judge's ballot for comments. So that's what I would use inside the club. Now, let's break this down then, because that form is used at both levels, level 1 and level 2. So some of the common reasons that candidates don't pass at level 1: lack of structure, lack of organization, lack of audience engagement. Are you connecting, or is it pretty flat? The lack of delivery and energy, the visual aids being visible. There was a candidate who had submitted at level 1 on the video and was using a flip chart, which is fine. It was a group discussion. This is what he gets paid to do. But the judges couldn't see the flip chart. There was no zoom in. There was no, zooming in, zooming out is not considered editing. If it's spliced and footage inserted, das ist verboten. So that would be forbidden. That's not allowed at all. But to give even a photocopy of each of the flip charts from that discussion, that may have helped the speaker to have passed level 1. Again, poor video or audio comes down to sound and quality. Again, 3 out of 5 judges. So for instance, if you did this at the club level and you went for and you divided, let's say that you had 30 people and then you divided, and what would be the majority of that, would you have passed in the judging? Level 2, the addition to that is that there are 2 minutes of serious silence observed between candidates to help ensure the judges have time to score and offer feedback. And if it comes to push or shove on one or the other, feedback may or may not go to the speaker right away. However, the score is the bottom line. And it's strenuous to be a judge at this particular level. And often here I'm asked, well, who are the judges? In the past, when the program originally started, then the judges were those who were professional speakers and trainers at that particular time. So keynoters, it may have been international presidents, past international directors, it may have been world champions who were being paid professionally. Since then, and now with 81 who have earned this designation, and I counted about 35 that are very active still today. I believe it's higher than that, but those that I can create a list that I can say that there's 35 on, that the accredited speakers may be judged at level 1 and or level 2. What's not allowed is if you were to have mentoring from an accredited speaker, they may not be a judge. It's either or, so they may not judge. And we've also created an internal vetting process where if you are a judge for level 1, you are not also a judge for level 2. We have plenty of judges, and the accredited speakers love to help support their colleagues and potential colleagues and to help keep the bar high for this. The judges remain confidential and anonymous forever. The chief judge may be announced that they are visible at the event, and they may be someone to bring in on your accredited speaker webinar series. They'd be happy to. Matter of fact, I was speaking with Kai Rambo, who was the chief judge this year at the Chicago Convention. And it's interesting, and let me give an infusion of something that he said today. He said of the 3 accredited speakers, 3 of the 6 accredited speakers who passed were the most nervous about the results. And he further explained that because they took it seriously, they didn't leave anything to chance. And it's interesting because in the past, we've noticed that too, where people who maybe are a bit arrogant about it or think that it's very easy, they typically don't pass. They're not taking it seriously. Maybe there's lack of professionalism. There's a whole host of other potential reasons. This is something to take seriously though, and not everyone passes the first time. I did, Sheryl did, but then you have Bob Huey who passed on his 3rd attempt, Karen Twitchell on her 2nd, and Canadian John Noonan who passed on his 7th attempt, and he's a past international president and expert on parliamentary procedure. My tip here too is don't give up. Find out what you need to improve. Take it back to your club. Use the judging forms. Get feedback. Videotape. Reach out to the accredited speakers for mentoring. And there's differences between mentoring and coaching for the business, and we can talk about that. But here's something that I think is very supportive as well. This is currently not posted on the international site. I'm not sure why. I will ask and inquire. Otherwise, feel free to email me, Sheryl@SherylRoush.com, and I'd be happy to email you. It's a judge's feedback form. This is the second form that the judges also have. And by the way, the judges also receive in advance the full application from the candidate and typically review the video. It's not necessary. And the presentations which are given at level 1 and level 2 do not need to be the same. They may be different, and they may be completely different topics as well. So for instance, Barbara Kuzam, who received her accredited speaker at the convention held in Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia, then I was mentoring her all the way up to her presentation. And the night before, then she asked me, she says, oh my gosh, I'd really love to do this presentation instead. It's what I'm most passionate about. It's what I do most often. I just, even though it's not Toastmaster related, I'd really love to do my program on customer service. And I said, based on your level of passion, it's your topic. What's going to present you in the best light? And she said, that one. I go, there's your answer. The night before, she changed to a different topic. Boom, she passed first time. So the speaker name goes up here, and then there's, and this is continued too. So let me show you what these questions are. Overall, what went well? Overall, what could be improved? Number 3, would you hire the speaker? Briefly explain why or why not. And keep in mind, this is during those 2 minutes. So after they've scored, if they have any additional time, they're filling out the feedback form. Question number 4, would you refer the speaker? Why or why not? Number 5, what additional feedback would you like to share with the speaker? It's tough in those 2 minutes. You'd probably agree with me. This year, the chief judge asked me if I would complete these feedback forms for each speaker. There were 9 candidates this year in Chicago. I completed 9 of these in detail for each of the speakers. And then the chief judge could then share it with them, the candidate, when they met to reveal what the results of. Wow. So why do people not pass at level 2? Same reasons as the first. And it may even be an overall lack of professionalism. You know, the judges are anonymous. They're sitting in the audience, and they can tell what's going on. And then the delivery and how are you on stage. I can give you examples of what doesn't work and what doesn't work, but you know, be professional on and off the stage. So here's my specific tips regarding how to practice and receiving feedback that you can use. First of all, in your club situation, use the accredited speaker judge's ballot. Use it, fill it out, then have a discussion regarding it. Use the accredited speaker feedback form. Have others preview your video. Again, if you are having several of your presentations videotaped, it could be that your club members or advanced Toastmasters or colleagues outside of Toastmasters preview 1, 2, or 3 of your videos and offer suggestions of which one would be best. As an example, one of the candidates this year asked me to preview his video that was submitted on the application. I'm happy to do that. I noticed the videographer's angle, however, was from behind the speaker over the speaker's starting to recede hairline. The judges want to see you, your face, you in front of the audience. This particular video footage was great for promo if used on his website about the audience interaction. However, not for the video submission. I suggested he reshoot where the cameras are in the back of the audience or center aisle, capturing the speaker, going with all of the movements, tight zoom shots where there's activity, pan back, get more of the audience from the back of the room, and that way too your audience's faces are not revealed. At outside engagements, have every presentation professionally videotaped as a potential submission. You never know what's going to happen. And things have happened where the video file has been lost or something happened in the link. Who knows? Who knows? And the second is to have each client for paid engagements complete the online letter of recommendation on your behalf. This is different from our letters, our testimonial letters, which typically our clients would give us for paid engagements or for every engagement, if you will. But the 5 that are submitted need to be paid, and the video that is submitted must be from one of those paid engagements that a letter of recommendation aligns with. So that could easily be missed on the application. It's real small print at the bottom of the application. So here's some unofficial but strong considerations for you. And a couple of these came from the feedback form. This is what the accredited speaker colleagues who have judged this program in the past, this is the bottom line of what they're looking for. And keep in mind, chances are they Google you, they look you up on Facebook, they want to see, are you truly in the industry? Are you speaking professionally? What are your topics? We're looking for colleagues. So here, question number 1, would you hire this speaker? And it's going to be a yes or no. Number 2, would you refer this speaker for a paid engagement? Paid engagement. Number 3, would you pay admission to be in that audience? If it were a public seminar, a full day presentation at $297 a ticket, would you pay to be in that speaker's audience? Yes or no? Or if you paid to go to any other type of event. And number 4, would you consider this speaker to be a professional colleague? So for instance, I'm looking for colleagues that I can refer. I want to see you hired. I want to see you work your magic and that you make paid engagements materialize right in front of you. I want to see you get the gigs. So this is what we're looking for. And we will research you to see, are you clearly in the business? So in the next area then, let's take a look at mentoring and support available. As an example of that, if you go to accreditedspeakers.com, this is the current list of those who are willing to mentor you complimentary for the accredited speaker process. This is from the site that Bob Huey created and that his wife Irene admins and does the updates for. You'll see some familiar faces on here, including Dada Lamont, who is also a world champion accredited speaker. And Darren LaCroix is our second world champion accredited speaker. And let's see, I know Bob is getting ready to update this because Greg Wood will be added to this list. So you have a few Canadians up here too. And people are from all over the world. So Claire Crowther, she's in the UK. One of the myths is, oh, it's all North America. No, it's not. Gerald Green, who passed away just last year, was one of the first accredited speakers from Malaysia. And now Claire Crowther from the UK, and many from Canada. So again, these are accredited speakers that we'd be happy to mentor you complimentary, and it's different from coaching. So if you want to know how to, for instance, design speaker one sheets, I coach on that. I design on those. Those are separate from mentoring toward the program. But here's what we can do. In utilizing mentoring, and this is pretty common across all of the accredited speaker mentors, prior to submitting the application, we are happy to preview the application. We can notice things that might be missing, words that probably should be changed. If there's something Toastmaster-ish that should be removed, then we will make those suggestions for you. And that's a fill in the form PDF currently at this time. So if we're helping you make changes, then we can actually go into that PDF form and help you make those changes. We are happy to preview your video in full. And we can tell you, based on our experience, would you pass or would you fail? Based on that, we may suggest that you reshoot a video. After passing level 1, consider utilizing us to help explain the next steps for level 2. What are some of the expectations? To discuss your potential topics. If you have 3 different things that you typically speak on that you get paid to do, Let's brainstorm it. Let's see which one is going to put you in your best light, your most passionate presentation that demonstrates that you are clearly a subject matter expert with platform professionalism. Again, whether you're a teacher, speaker, lecturer, minister, magician, whatever that it might be, it's got to be you. And the candidates this year were saying, what's the biggest tip that I could share with you? It's be who you be and bring that to the stage. After passing level 2, there's abundant opportunities. So what we are currently doing for the class of 2018 and all accredited speakers who have been previously credentialed is that we've started a webinar series in here's what's next, here's what we're working on, having conversations, helping them know maybe things that they didn't know about, what's next, the interviews, the podcasts, the radio interviews, the photographs, the feature in the Toastmaster magazine. Oh, there's abundant opportunities. What do you do? What do you do next? What now? Now that you've earned it, then what? How does this show up in your marketing materials? What does TI do for you? What can you do for TI? What's the relationship between TI and the accredited speaker? The sad thing that I heard this year from one of the candidates is that he did not know the complimentary mentoring was available until about 2 weeks prior to the level 2 in Chicago. When I see the list, I contact and I search to find how can I reach out to these candidates who are going forward. In any candidate, if I hear anybody's going for it at any level, it's like, okay, how can we help? If not me, then there are 40 others who can certainly mentor you and be of support for you. Talk to the people who have gone through the process, who have earned the designation. Even talk to people who haven't passed the first time, because they have great insights too. The sad thing was hearing that I didn't even know that there was mentoring available. Oh my gosh. Please spread the news about this and utilize the mentoring for yourself as well. You can join the social media conversations. Many of us are active on these groups. These are officially sanctioned, approved of by World Headquarters. I'm an admin for each of these groups, including our Facebook group, the LinkedIn, and on Twitter. We are most active on Facebook, by the way, but we also do have an active LinkedIn group for accredited speakers. So in this session, and Michael, we're getting ready to come back to you and to open it up for conversations on the chat. In this quick session, 45 minutes-ish, we've looked at the judging process and how to prepare. You know where the downloadable resources are available. You've looked at the judging criteria, the guide, the ballot form, as well as some tips to help you with practicing the feedback and mentoring. So with that then, let's go back into, here's your red carpet. Ta-da! So Michael, let's go ahead and open up for the chat. And let's see what questions do people have.
Okay, there's no questions that have come in on the chat.
We're so good.
Is anybody who's online, do you have a question? Unmute yourself and ask away.
650.
Hang on, what?
650 unmute. That phone, because they can't unmute or mute themselves.
Okay, let's see.
Was the retaliation its own tariff on American industry?
All right, so if you put it into the chat, I can view the chat right now. So if you have any... Is someone speaking to us, or is that background noise? Oh, it sounds like a news report.
Yeah.
Sounds like the telly. Sounds like the telly. Okay, so Michael, based on that you had requested this particular session for your club members, and I know that GoPro Speakers and As We Speak Club was very interested in this. What additional questions, Michael, might you have regarding the process? Mentoring, getting feedback, and then I'll answer questions coming in on chat.
I was a bit distracted, so let's handle the chat question first. Ratty has asked, how has the AS impacted you or your or other professional speakers' careers?
That's a brilliant question. 2 years ago, 3 years ago, when I suggested to Eldana Lewis Fernandez to go for the accredited speaker program, she said, well, why? I'm already speaking professionally. She was a bit arrogant, but I respected the perspective. What's it going to do for me? And I said, well, it's going to raise your bar. Whatever level that you are at speaking now, it is going to test you, it is going to challenge you, and you are going to become better at speaking and at the business simultaneously. You are also going to get more speaking engagements as a result of earning the designation. Here it is. Let's see, she qualified the first year, she passed. She says, oh my gosh, you are so right. My business is booming. I've upgraded everything that I do, and she is the Think Like a Negotiator. This year, she submitted to present at the International Convention and was on the main stage. Johnny Campbell, same thing. We had 2 accredited speakers on the main stage at the Chicago Convention. Both of them rocked it, doing what they do. And can you imagine that that was live streamed to 142 countries, potentially 350,000 members, plus people who were sitting there in the audience, approximately 2,200, and the speaking engagements that they are getting from just speaking there. Oh, and then then there's the Canadian, let's see, who qualified last year, Joe Grondin. So his business has doubled as a result of earning accredited speaker, and he'll tell you that himself. As far as me, by being able to say that I was the youngest female, only the 28th ever, out of, let's see, potentially since Toastmasters was founded in 1924, over 4.4 million members, and that there's only 81 in the world of 142 countries, it gives me a lot of credibility. What it did for my confidence was dramatically increase it, or exponentially, I should say, because then I would go for paid engagements where maybe in the past I would have been scared or shy to do. As a result of the credential and that confidence, I then keynoted my 2 largest audiences ever, which were 5,000 people, keynote closed an international convention for a group in the same location, different group, another 5,000 people 4 days later. Could not have done it without the confidence that that did for me. And I won't tell you what the dollars were that were amounted, but it was high 5 figures as a result of that 1 week engagement. It blew my socks off. So I would say, does it impact your career? Yes, it does. Do you get more paid engagements? Yes, you do. Your other question is there a minimum limit on the amount received as payment by the speaker? Think as a professional speaker would. True professional speakers command 4 figures, that's a $sign with a comma in it, for a keynote presentation. If it's in the 3-figure number, it might not be considered professional, and the judges are looking at that. There's also consideration of putting a minimum amount. Currently, there is not one in the rules and regulations. However, start charging more. Go for paid engagements, put that on the application. And that's what Tamara Hamilton did too, because she did not pass last year. Since then, what it did for her confidence, that she got coaching, she got mentoring, she took the application process seriously. She has now increased her fees. She passed this year, 2nd time, and was absolutely gracious in how she received the award, knowing that she had taken it seriously and brought who she is to the platform. She's also been able to raise her fees and get incredible paid engagements as well. So everyone that I'm thinking of, they would tell you that the journey raises your personal bar for you and your business, raises your fees. Joe, by the way, has a brand new book coming out, Joe Grondin. So he's releasing his new book. A lot of testimonials going for it. And he's also created a logo for his business that even says accredited speaker right on it. So it's been worlds apart. So to recap, no, there's no current minimum limit. However, keep in mind the judges who are charging good fees are looking for colleagues that they can refer. So I hope that that answers the question, Roddy. All right, and it looks like, let's see, Louise, it looks like, do the new accredited speakers have to wait a year more or less before they can be mentors to wannabes? No, they do not. They can be mentors right away, and Bob Huey is getting their contact information to make updates to that mentoring area in the accreditedspeakers.com. Even people who have not passed could also mentor because there's things they've learned about the journey. And 2 of the candidates who did not pass this year have already determined that, yes, they will be going for their second attempt next year in Denver. They already realized from the judging forms, the feedback, and that they can watch Toastmasters on demand to go back and look at the footage, get serious coaching on it, make their own modifications. They can do the same presentation. Connor Cuneen did that. Matter of fact, he did The Irishman Speaks. So he did the same presentation for level 1, level 2, both times that he went for the accreditation before he passed, but making improvements to it along the way. As sometimes it's polishing up the delivery. Sometimes it's changing a phrase. Sometimes it might even be a different outfit. So, well, I think the biggest change, though, and the 2 that did not pass this year also said that they know what changes that they're going to make. And one candidate said, I didn't do what I normally do to get paid. And then he also explained why. And I won't divulge that because he will be going for it again next year, but he got it. But he still brought his best that he possibly could. And I will refer him, whether he's accredited speaker or not. Just outstanding platform presentation skills and true professionals. Other questions?
We have a question from our floor here. Monique, nice and loud.
Hi, Sheryl. Can you hear me?
I can. Hi, Monique.
Hello. How are you?
Fabulous.
Okay, so I have a number of questions. Number 1, you were talking that the audience needed to be a minimum of 20. Do you have to have a video of that audience to prove that? And if so, do they need to sign a release form indicating that they're on that video?
Good questions. Thank you. The video does need to show at least 20 people seated in the room, yes. And the judges in the past, including me, have counted to make sure that there are. Do they need to sign a model release? It's suggested. Otherwise, do not show their faces. Let them know in advance that it's going to be video recorded. And if they do not want to be visible, to move to a different area of the room. What I can share with you is the more people that you have in an audience, the more fun it is, the greater the energy exchange. So I would not want to cut it close at 20. If you have one presentation that's 20 people, okay, but don't cut it close. Oh, there's also a question too, Monique, you might be going to this where, can you indicate the same presentation more than once on the application, even though it's to different audiences? Yes. Can you have the same audience but different presentations listed on the application? Yes.
Okay, so that leads to sort of a follow-up question. So a lot of the work that I do and the contracts that I have are with groups that are around the 20 mark, and they're full day facilitation schedules. Sometimes I'll facilitate 3 days in a row. Sometimes it's half a day. Sometimes it's a full day. And I'm reticent how to even make this work.
Okay, here's a suggestion for you. I know what you're talking about. If you were to do the very first part of the morning, where you have someone professionally introduce you, because that must be recorded, prepare it for them, setting up the tone of what you're going to be covering in this presentation. Don't say full day presentation, but you can say in this presentation. Then you give the first, let's say 40 to 43 minutes that is a whole and complete presentation, that it is a hard stop close that the audience applauds, you can capture that. And what you can do for full transparency and integrity is to announce to the audience that you are going to be videotaping the first 45 minutes to be submitted for a professional credential. Are they okay with that, to applaud at the end, and then the rest of the program will continue unvideoed? Then that still maintains integrity.
That's perfect. Thank you, Sheryl.
Sure, and I would suggest the first part as opposed to after lunch.
Good point. Yeah.
Oh, and then was there a follow-up question to that?
Nope, that you covered it. Thank you.
Okay. And it looks like Maybe has a question over here. Oh, Mabel, sorry. Does subject matter limit level of compensation in real ways? I could use some more explanation on that. Not having any input on that, what I would say is subject matter expertise and the problems that we solve. Michael, feel free to jump in on this. The problems that we solve and the level at which we solve them determines how well we are paid. People are looking to hire us to solve their problems. Based on how well we solve those problems is how well that we're paid. Does that make sense?
Yes, I have unmuted myself, and I'm
Yes, there you
assuming
are.
you can hear me. Yes, I'm in Albuquerque. The reason I was asking, because my subject matter is twofold: Japanese flower arranging, ikebana, and also orchids, raising certain kinds of orchids.
Wow.
So I talk to garden groups. I spoke at the Orchid Guild's annual show and that kind of thing.
Are you
And
paid as a keynoter or a general session? Where do they put you in the agenda?
Well, if there were as an agenda, as a general session available for people,
Okay.
sometimes a breakout session. When I
Okay.
go and speak to actual Ikebana groups, I am the event. So
Wow.
that would be like a keynote, but it's a demonstration.
Got it. Okay,
Not
so
just-
Mabel, you are a subject matter expert. You are
Okay.
a subject matter expert, and I need to attend your program on orchids. They're stuck with me in orchids. I love them, and they require special care. So anyway, Mabel, being a subject matter expert, the keynote presentations typically command higher fees. So keynote and general session. And the breakout sessions typically command less fee.
Okay.
As a speaker, this is a coaching tip, that you can charge more for doing both or three. So you could do a keynote or a general session and 2 breakout sessions in the course of one day and get paid more for that. Here's how you can leverage that for your video if you're pursuing the accredited speaker designation, is to, on your own, hire someone locally in Albuquerque to do professional video and make sure that you have a microphone on you.
Yeah.
It could even be that you're wearing 2 microphones, so make sure to dress appropriately and so that the power packs can go in your suit, your attire, or on a belt, because one will go directly into the video, one will go into the house system, depending on the size of the audiences, all right? Now, from that, Mabel, if you're doing 3 presentations in one day and they fit the rest of the criteria, you could have 3 potential videos to submit, by the way. And you take a Toastmaster with you and you get credit for advanced manual presentations,
Right.
and you get paid, you're triple dipping.
Oh, I kind of like that.
Yeah,
Thanks so much, Sheryl.
there you go. Michael, did you have a question? Did I see someone from the room?
Yes, Monique
There
has
in-
a question for you.
Okay.
Yes, thank you.
So Sheryl, with regards to your suggestion to Mabel, would you recommend that she wear a different outfit so that the videos look like they're in just a different doing, like be that boss? Or
I love it. That's how my mind thinks. Is that a chick thing or what? Anyway, yes. Yes. I would suggest changing something. So maybe it's a different top and a different blazer so that it looks like 3 different presentations. If there's enough time to change between them, that's what I would vote for. And of course, the men on the call here are going, what? You know, whatever. It's, you know, change your tie. Change your tie.
You're only submitting 1 video for adjudication.
Yes.
It doesn't matter if you have the same outfit on. They don't know. They don't know that you've done anything else that day.
But
It's that.
for your promo video,
Yes, for your promo video.
that looks
Was that Greg?
Yeah.
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 You're not on video, sweetheart. You're not in the lens. Now you are. Hi, Greg. Wearing your new accredited speaker badge. Looking good there, buddy.
Yeah.
And your pin. I love it. Where are the pill pins?
over my heart.
Over your heart. That's right.
Boy.
So yes, I would agree with Greg on that. And that's a professional tip too then, is that different outfits can help you with the professional video demo reel, or if they're different topics, then they may go in a different place. Like I do that on my video, on my website, SherylRoush.com, where I will have videos of different presentations posted for those particular topics. Yeah. So we're getting into some, into the professional side of the business here. So other questions regarding accredited speaker?
I hear none in the room and see none on the chat box. So I think this is a good time to say thank you very much, Sheryl. You have no idea how much we've truly appreciated this. Your insight was amazing. I love the fact that you're really encouraging us to use the accredited speakers for mentoring, especially video review, because I think that's so critical. And I hope that we all are able to keep you guys really busy and avail ourselves of that. I'd like to thank the other 2 clubs as we speak, and GoPro to join us. I think this is a wonderful energy and synergy, and I think this is something we need to develop and grow, because if nothing else, we won't tire out the ASs from presenting 3 or 4 times. We can just grab them all at once. And I think, and plus we get that energy and synergy, and we get to know other folks that are on the journey. So I think that's very helpful as well. So on behalf of everyone, thank you so much for joining us today. Thank you for your insights. And we'll see you in Denver in 19.
There you go. I love it. I love it. Thank you, everyone.
Thank
and
you.
the red carpet is waiting for you. And let's see. And Michael, if you want to stop recording.